Spring has arrived, and with the new season, everything has changed so fast. We've been moving the sheep to a new paddock each day. And with less grass around, they always bounce and dance at the idea of the fresh green shoots and yummy fallen fruits that are waiting for them in their new paddock. Their joy is infectious. We are sisters, Julia and Anastasia, and this is our home in the Australian rainforest. We spend our days caring for animals, growing food, creating, building, and learning to live off the land. One of the things that we've learnt from our time in nature is to always celebrate the seasons. Watching each small change always puts everything into perspective. When the sheep are in this playful mood, they often overtake us and bounce off like ballerinas right across the farm and not into the paddock where we're leading them to. Today, they skipped off across the hills before we finally got them into the right paddock. Aphrodite and Harmonia always get lost when they munch on grass for too long.
Hey, baby. Come on. The naughty sheep. The naughtiest sheep in the world. The big old red cedar tree is filled with green growth. Watching these slow and subtle changes in the landscape is mesmerizing. It's always amazing to witness the passage of time in such a beautiful way. The red cedar trees are one of Australia's only native deciduous trees, and their changing leaves follow the most magical cycles. They fall in winter and slowly shoot when the warmer weather comes. Their buds are bright red and they seem to glow amongst the deep rainforest. They dot the hills and valleys like paint strokes. The Welsh harlequins sleep in their roots. and the chickens scratch off in the paddock in their shade. They get brighter and brighter until they finally shoot thick green foliage and announce that the season has changed.
The nasturtium flowers are blooming, reminding us that it's our sweet duck nasturtium's birthday. A year ago, when she was just a day old, she wore a special nasturtium hat. And a flower hat for every change in the seasons as she grew up this year. Her birthday marks the seasons changing, and now, a year later, the same flowers are blooming, and she celebrates in the same flower hat.
She is the softest and kindest soul and makes friends with everyone, even Aubergine the sheep. In the autumn, the persimmon tree is filled with delicious fruit and thick leaves. They fall in winter, and now in spring the new shoots have emerged. Today we're going down for a swim in the creek. These are our sweet neighbour's cows. Sometimes, when we are calling the sheep home at night, we can hear her calling the cows. The familiar come-ons echo through the valley. She is 74 and has lived here all of those years, and her knowledge and connection to the animals is so inspiring. We have so many special childhood memories of skipping across the creek and through the meadow in the early morning. We'd meet our neighbour in the old cow bales and collect fresh milk for the day. Our dad did the same thing in his childhood and told stories of jumping from cow paddy to cow paddy to keep his bare feet warm on cold winter mornings. I guess the cow poops were fresh and warmer than the wet ground, although I'd prefer just wet boots. The rain stops in spring, and the creeks stop flowing so heavily. They trickle still, fed by the springs up high in the mountains. The landscape changes so much with the seasons. In summer, the creeks flow and rage. The heavy summer monsoons cause inevitable floods. In autumn, the creeks fill with fresh water from rain caught up in the mountains' gullies. It's so beautiful for a refreshing swim. Now, in the spring, the creek is back to a trickle. It's incredible to see how much it changes between the fresh, gushing water, the raging torrent, and now the sparkling trickle. We spent so many days of our childhood playing in this creek, exploring, sitting on rocks like fairies, and building cubby houses and vine swings. It's so special to still hold this childlike play within us. We've been exploring up in the rainforest, fencing and working out where to put new paddocks so that we can regenerate further and find more food for the sheep and goats. It's hard work, but along the way I found the best vines to swing on and became very distracted. Sometimes when you come across a perfect jungle vine, you can just swing on it for hours.
I want to be like Tarzan!
We haven't only been playing though. This is our brother Riley. He's a bushfire fighter and he works to manage and prepare forests for the fire season. Now that it's spring, everything is drying out and we have to be careful of bushfires. So, Riley came for a visit to help us clear this paddock, which is filled with brush and shrubs, and it would be a big fire danger. Because of the climate crisis, fires have come onto the farm twice in the last few years, which is really abnormal in our subtropical rainforest. This can be really overwhelming sometimes. The goats have been enjoying snacking in here, so they have cleared easy paths through the weeds. Now, Riley is cutting wood that is a fire danger, and I'm moving it. Mum's turning it into firewood, and Julia's working in the garden. Everyone is helping, even the goats and ducks. Because it's been so dry and there hasn't been much fresh grass, the goats are very excited about the fallen trees. Maggie, Moth, and Fern are the best helpers in regenerating the bush. Much better than me. I got scared off by the electric fence, and I'm sick of carrying heavy logs up the hill. My arms are too tired from all the vine swinging.
Friends, but if I touch it, I'm gonna get zapped.
We run an electric fence to each duck pen that sends out little zaps to warn the predators away. But the wire above this fence runs electricity too, and because the wood I'm moving is wet, I get zapped if I touch it. One of our biggest family jokes is tricking someone into getting zapped, so Julia always just laughs when I get zapped. With so much shrub cleared, it gives a chance for the native species to thrive. It's so exciting to see the progress we've all made together. We had these things to protect the tomatoes from ducks and goats, but we think we've finally kept everyone out of the garden, so we're removing them. We're harvesting all the sweet potatoes. For lunch, we're frying up some leftovers into lentil patties with a yummy tomato and quinoa salad and tahini sauce.
We're using the fermented papaya and turmeric that Julia made a few months ago. This tahini sauce is our favourite and we put it on everything. The simple recipe is up on our Patreon. Another one of our springtime jobs is fencing new paddocks so that the sheep and goats have more to eat, but also so that they can't escape and go over the hills to our neighbour's veggie patch. Uncle Adam is the best helper. It was right up in this rainforest that I first found the patch of vines and spent way too much time playing and definitely not enough working and building fences. The next day, we're going on a big walk to see if we can find a good spot to put another fence. This area of the farm is very overgrown with weeds, and we're so excited to see the goats eating all the invasive plants and leaving room for native plants to grow back. We work as a team with the goats, and we fence a paddock in for them, and then brush cut all the weeds back. Then they come in and eat any new growth. Although this area of bush is pretty huge and daunting. There are hills, valleys, and creeks, and even a waterfall that flows in the wet weather.
Mr. Hare, you want to go through?
Fencing it will be pretty hard, but it'll be so beautiful to see the natural bush return.
At the top of the valley, there is a massive chestnut tree that was planted in the first part of the century. Its branches reach so far, and it feels like a fairy tale. Thanks for joining us on our springtime days. It is because of the support of our patrons that we're able to do the big regenerative projects up in the bush like this. Thank you so much.